Sharon is on the road on her way to
On the way
Indiana.
to Indiana. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the 2 Minute Warning Show. Fortunately, or fortunately, depending on what side you're on, we are in the finals. Like we just had game one. Oklahoma City lost to a point 0.3 tenths of a second shot by Tyrese Halliburton. And so we're gonna start the conversation talking about them. Today we have Edward, who I don't know might be a Indiana. Oh yeah, he's an Indiana fan. Clearly wearing some classic logo of the Indiana Pacers, and we have Omar to here to cover for Sharon, who will probably be back next week. But Omar is pretty good, so glad to have you, Omar, this week. Let's start off with the game. So this is what Tyrese Halliburton's fifth buzzer beater. Explain what's happening, Edward, because I don't.
I think this is his fifth buzzer beater, but more importantly, fourth this postseason. So he had the game winner against Milwaukee, and then he had two against Cleveland, and then the one that hit the back of the rim and went up to heaven, and God just placed it in the rim. I guess. No, he had one against Cleveland, so he's had one each round, and then last night. Us spotting OKC for 47 minutes, 59 seconds. Let them have the lead, and then just took it back with 0.3. So he's having a historic year. It's amazing to watch, and I'm just happy for our city. Happy for being a Pacer fan.
Right. So he's really he's proving everyone wrong, I guess. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton was voted most overrated. I'm gonna bring back this title and
see. I have a thought on that.
Okay.
I don't even think that was a real poll.
Really?
I don't. I just can't. Most NBA players understand that they're in a league. They're in a special group, being pro basketball players. You wouldn't get many people hating on each other. You know what I mean? Not like that. Not calling them overrated. Now, they might talk crazy to them on the court, but to go out as far as saying that someone's overrated. I mean, I think Giannis was on that list. It was just ridiculous. So I can't believe. If it is real, I would love for the people who voted for him overrated just to come out publicly. Everybody got a podcast, so I don't see why you do it. Don't wait 5, 10, 15 years and be like, hey, back in the day, I voted. Like, be a man. And step up to the plate and just admit your mistakes.
I mean, okay, I'll save my comment. Omar, right? Is Tyrese Halliburton proving them wrong right now?
Oh my goodness! I mean, here's my thoughts on why people said that, if it's even true. So I thought about this 2 days ago, and I agree with you, Coach. I think, and I didn't realize that they had Giannis in that poll too. But I think. And this is just my thought. I don't even know if I'm right. Number one, the market that he plays in. I think that's why people try to qualify somebody overrated. And number two, he's not really somebody you really want to watch. So I think that's kind of the delusion that he's overrated because of the stylistically. And I was talking to somebody the other day. Oh yeah, is he boring or what? Okay, but Tim Duncan, right? Greatest power forward in NBA history. He could be boring. 5 championships.
So wait, are you calling Tyrese Halliburton the Tim Duncan of point guards?
Well, I mean, it's too early to tell, but this is my personal assessment as to why people feel like that, because of the market and stylistically. He's not somebody you really like want to watch. He doesn't really have that style and pizzazz as far as the way he plays. But who cares? He gets the job done. That's why I feel like people say he's overrated, if that poll is even true. Same thing with Giannis. I mean, Giannis has a little bit more flair to him, but it's probably the market that they play in. as to why people say that.
So I just want to chime in here. I mean, Giannis is overrated. So if the poll doesn't,
Wait a minute. What?
poll
Wait a minute.
isn't
Wait a minute. Wait a
fully
minute.
correct,
Wait a minute. What? What did you say?
Why is Giannis overrated?
Giannis is like he plays like, what's that term? The bull in the china shop?
A winner?
No. No. He's like a bull in a china shop, right? I mean, what is his signature move? What like the clock the just like last night, let's say Bucks and our Pacers are playing. Pacers are the Bucks are down by 1. We giving Giannis the ball? No. We not?
He can't hit free throws.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I mean, he's tremendously athletic. That is a definite. But what else? What else are we talking about?
I guess here's my argument to that. Outside of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, right? And I'll even throw Allen Iverson in that. Vince Carter, if it wasn't playoffs. Who is like exciting to watch in the league right now? Like, I'm gonna pay top dollar because I just want to see that guy play.
Ja Morant.
Why?
Oh, right now
He can't hit jumpers. Why? Because he can dunk? Because if the dunking is the issue, then why don't you like Giannis? Because Giannis dunks on people too.
I mean, yeah, he does, but again, we talked about flair. He doesn't have any. Like, he's literally, I mean, he's super athletic. Don't.
I'll pay to see. That's a good question. I right now I would pay to see off the top of my head. I would pay to see. Well, I've already seen it, but I'll do it again. Luka Doncic and Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of flair.
But
if you had to rank who you're gonna pay for between Giannis, Anthony Edwards, and Ja Morant, who's number one?
I mean, for me, it's a coin toss between Edwards and Ja Morant, right?
Right, exactly.
So what you're saying is, y'all just want to see dunks.
No,
that's
it. It's not that.
Because that's the only thing. That's the only thing. But I'm saying that's the only thing they do. Ja Morant and Anthony Edwards. That's it. Anthony Edwards did a good job this year by fixing his 3-point shot. But for him to be the most athletic dude on the court, he needs to be the best. He should be the best defender on the court, and he should have. He should. I don't know. I'm not willing to. I hear people say that about Tyrese Halliburton. I don't understand. You're getting everyone involved. I think we've fallen in love with this superstar. Like, you got to do everything. And that's what SGA was doing. That's what Jalen Brunson did. And that's what Giannis did against us. That's what Donovan Mitchell did against us. All these players are doing everything, but we're still beating them. So what I hear people say is they don't care about winning. They want to be entertained. And the only thing that entertains people is dunks. So if Tyrese Halliburton is crossing people over and dunking on people, does he become a superstar now? Just because he dunks?
I think you're conflating multiple topics. You said who would you pay to see? And then you're talking who does what job. That's not like an interchangeable thing.
Okay. Well, break it down.
What does Giannis do best? Tell me.
He dunks. He rebounds and plays defense.
You're talking.
Well,
you just told me.
No. I'm telling you. I'm trying to feed into your narrative, but I'm saying he dunks on people too. He embarrasses people too. He has big time blocks too. So how is he overrated and how is he boring? But Ja Morant, who hasn't played a serious playoff game ever. Like that's what I don't like about this society. We don't value winning at all.
That's true.
You would rather take it's almost like the Gilbert Arenas effect. You'd rather take a 50-point game like SGA. Like you're probably happy that SGA had 38 points and he lost, but Indiana Pacers had 6 people in double digits. Everybody
I'm not
on the
happy
Pacers
about any of that. I'm just saying, what is Giannis good at? You said he's good at everything else that Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant is good at.
He's
6'10". The winning part is a team
You
thing.
called them overrated though.
Yes, I did.
He's not overrated.
We just together collaboratively put him in a top 3, right? And you picked 2 other people besides him to go pay to see, they all did the same thing.
Omar did. I won't win. I want you to entertain me, but I want you to win. If not, then why wasn't Dominique Wilkins more popular than Michael Jordan?
Well, winning is a team thing.
No, but but the most valuable thing you can do is win.
Right.
Again, I asked you if the Bucks were playing the Pacers and the Bucks were down by 1, are they giving Giannis the ball?
Unfortunately, Milwaukee is. Who's going to take the shot? Who's taking the shot for Milwaukee?
Who's taking the shot?
They're giving it to Dame. They're giving it to somebody else, but they're not having him do it.
He's not playing.
I know he's not playing now, but I'm saying in the best case scenario, if you have your roster, you're looking at the roster and you're like, damn, we're down. Do we give it to Giannis? No, we don't. That's what I'm saying. Like he is very like Giannis is super athletic, very motivating. He has leadership qualities. He has all that stuff, and that's why they win. And I told you offline, the difference for a team winning is not the people on the team, it's not athleticism, it's the leadership. He has leadership. But if we're talking about just pure skills, he does the same thing as Ja Morant and dunk, play defense sometimes, right?
Somebody told me that I don't agree, but somebody told me that Giannis is a glorified Otis Thorpe.
Yeah.
Damn. I guess who are we comparing it to? I know that we got very lucky as growing up that Michael Jordan was who Michael Jordan was, but Dominique Wilkins probably was a better dunker. What separated the two was Jordan won. So therefore, when the playoffs started and the final started, Jordan is playing. So this right now, this Tyrese Halliburton run right now is showing me so many people who talk basketball but clearly don't like basketball.
No,
because
love basketball.
All right, if you love excitement and you love that, Tyrese Halliburton has hit 4 buzzer beaters in 1 playoff run, and we still got people not respecting. Like, I don't get it. Right. What else could if LeBron James would have hit 4 buzzer beaters in 1, everybody would be riding his jack. If anybody in the big market, if Jalen Brunson, everybody would be like, Jalen Brunson's the greatest Knick ever if he did exactly what Tyrese Halliburton has done. But yet when Halliburton is, everybody's like, because he plays in Indiana. So if Halliburton was a Knick, he would be a superstar doing the exact same thing.
I think you're concerned about something that's just premature. Nobody's saying that Halliburton is terrible. Nobody's disrespecting Halliburton. It's just premature in his journey to stardom. You're not going to get the Jordan acclaim or even Jalen Brunson acclaim for Halliburton at this stage of the game.
Why would he not get Brunson? Why would anybody realistically say Brunson's a better player than Halliburton?
Because hold on.
I'm going to defend Coach. Because I'm thinking about Tim Duncan, right? Tim Duncan is one of the 10 greatest NBA players in history, right? That goes without saying. Greatest power forward ever. That's not even up for discussion. But in my assessment, Tim Duncan is still underappreciated and undervalued, even being in the top 10. Why? Because of what Coach was saying. Because stylistically, and the narratives placed on him by the media. See, that's what I was going to get with Coach. It's the narratives that they feed to fans and people buy into it. Tyrese Halliburton being over him. You know, the media is very powerful, so they prop up who's great, who's this, who's that, and people buy into it. I would still pay to see Tyrese. I don't think he's as boring as people think. Just watching him, and now with these playoffs, and now I'm watching him more. Like, this guy is nice.
Listen, I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
I'm telling you.
Guys, Edward, I said this to you earlier, but you're over dramatic.
I'm telling you.
No one like is if people are just tuning in to Indiana, right? Because we don't get it in different parts of the country. It's not like they were playing. How many national TV games they had this year?
Not many.
Okay, then. So you got to give people some grace right now because they didn't get to see him before.
I'm not mad at people.
I have not seen the kind of commentary that you're seeing disrespecting Halliburton. I haven't seen it.
All right, so you haven't seen that the players poll that we just opened the show with?
No. I heard about the players poll.
And then when you listen to First Take, like Stephen A. Smith, when you listen to them talk, it's almost like somebody has a gun to their head and making them talk about the Pacers. like they're all depressed. Like last night when they won, you would have thought like ESPN was opening out a funeral or something, like some superstar died or something. And they're like, even Scott Van Pelt said this: I got 22 cards in my hand, and only one has notes about you winning. The other 21 had about OKC. So you got the narrative of the media that just wants Indiana to lose, and every time Indiana comes back and win, it's almost like they're so pressured. No. And my thing is this: how come your geographic location determines your greatness? How come? If we claim that we love basketball, how come somebody gets drafted or traded to a place and now that determines the ceiling? So if he's in Indiana, his ceiling is here. But if he would be in New York or LA, his ceiling would be up there. Why?
That's just simply because there's more people there. Like you're gonna get more like different, either more support or more eyes just for population. And that's something you can't really change, right? Like this whole system is backed by money and business. What you're going to promote in the place that has more eyes because it leads to more revenue, right? It's plain and simple. I think you're just frustrated over the position in the marketing chain that the Pacers are in, but you just have to be patient. No one's gonna support the Pacers. They don't want we don't watch your Pacers, and the Pacers itself, the organization, isn't on TV. We're not supposed to be like, you know what, damn it, I'm gonna do some we're doing freaking like a research project all year, and like, you know, these Pacers, I'm gonna go look at them. No, like it's just
well then people don't call yourself basketball fans. Don't call yourself basketball fans. Don't say
every day I'm not getting up today and be like, you know what?
I want to watch the best game. I want to watch the best game.
I'm going to go to the library right now and research the Utah Jazz because, damn it, they didn't put it on the TV the last month, and I think it's a disservice to my basketball knowledge that I don't see the Utah Jazz. That's not how life works. You have to wait. Like now, people are seeing Tyrese Halliburton. They're the powers that be are saying, okay, well, when he plays, let's see how many eyes tune in on Nielsen. Let's see how many clicks on social media. He seems to be driving a force. Yeah, he's worth putting this investment and putting more shows on the air because we will make the revenue back for what it costs to do so. That's how it works. It's not like we could go to the park and see the Pacers. This costs money.
And I understand. And if you're in the 80s and 90s, you're talking about that, you're absolutely 100% right. We only came on Channel 4 and nobody watched the Pacers. But this is 2025.
Yeah,
where people aren't even watching cable TV. They got YouTube TV. They got everything. You can pick on YouTube TV what team you want to watch, and you can watch them the whole year. So right now, I don't want to hear people tell me they're true basketball fans. And when the best basketball is being played right now in Oklahoma City and Indianapolis, and you're telling me that Jalen Brunson is better because he plays in New York.
You're just a little bit more privileged than the rest of us because YouTube TV costs $70 a month.
No, he's right.
So I'm not paying $70 a month. But, curious about the Indiana Pacers.
But he's right. You do have to question the fan base because like you were saying, Coach, the Spurs went through this. The
Yeah,
Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs are exactly what you're saying. Spurs won 5 championships,
and they still don't get respect.
and people are still like, oh well, I mean, I even fell victim to it because I was younger. Like, yeah, I love Tim Duncan, but damn, I don't know if I want to go see him, man. He's boring. But as I get older, I don't care about that. You won 5 championships.
I disagree. I feel like there were more people. I know more Spurs fans in New York than anywhere else. That was not the case with the Spurs. And the Spurs used actual marketing tactics to get that viewership. It wasn't curious about basketball. They packaged, for instance, why you think they call Homeboy Big Fundamentals? You put a catchy title on something you don't want to watch, and people ride with it. That's just like
Okay,
marketing psychology.
so let's just say you probably so let's just say we're just being premature. Maybe if Indiana starts winning, maybe the media coverage will get better. But once you start winning, more doors are open for you.
That's
I understand
exactly
what you're
what I'm
saying.
saying.
But it's
I
not
understand
true.
what you're saying.
But that's not true.
No,
Because we just said the San Antonio Spurs won 5, right? I don't see anybody in Indiana until Wemby got drafted. I don't see anybody supporting. I don't see no Spurs T-shirts, no Spurs, nothing. They don't come on TV.
People in Indiana.
Well,
Come to New York.
then they should have a Spurs soccer something. One of our 15 people should.
You cannot listen. Basketball. Now we're getting into the business. Basketball is a geo-located market. You're not gonna go into Indiana and see a ton of Spurs jerseys.
Okay, but Trish, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that's the way it was. But I'm saying now in 2025, when you have the ability to watch whatever team you want, don't argue with me that you're a basketball fan, that you love the game of basketball, and you'd rather watch Luka Doncic and LeBron James play, a 40-year-old man play, and get tired against Minnesota than watch Oklahoma City and Indiana play. I don't want to. You're not a basketball fan. You are a Bron fan. You're a Luka fan.
Since when does a basketball fan have to be the only people to watch basketball? And if you think that the majority of the people that watch basketball are actually people that understand basketball, you're misunderstanding what your audience is. The majority of people that watch basketball don't really never played and don't understand basketball.
Right. Correct. So therefore the media has a responsibility to just my thing is just put the best basketball out there.
No,
that's all I care.
The media has to appeal to what those people want. If I'm just the NBA is entertainment, right? Before sports.
So are you saying last night's game was one of the most entertaining finals games anyone has ever seen? So why would you know that and then not watch game 2? Because they're Oklahoma City and Indiana? No. So if those Oklahoma City Thunder was the Los Angeles Lakers and the Indiana Pacers were the New York Knicks, you would watch that just because of the city they're in, even though the players are exactly the same. It
also comes with reputation. They built that brand over time in order to get those kind of eyes.
What brand?
The Knicks brand.
The Knicks ain't done nothing my whole life. I'm 45 years old. They've never won anything. So what did they do?
You don't have to have done anything to build a brand. When was the last time the Pacers won a championship? And you're fighting tooth and nail for us to watch that?
The same time the Knicks did. But my thing is we consistently beat the Knicks. Every time we go to finals, we beat the Knicks. So how are the Knicks? You know what I'm saying? It's like
I'm trying to tell you, this is a marketing issue. This is not on the NBA, it's on the Pacers. The Pacers as a brand has to be able to put themselves and prop themselves up enough to garner that attention. Every team is an individual business under the NBA brand. It is you guys' duty to bring in eyes, not the NBA. The NBA is an organization, an umbrella for these 30 teams, and each team under it is a business. If you want a greater market or more eyes on you, you got to do the thing to do it.
All right, let me ask you this. What are the Lakers doing, organizational wise? What are they doing that the Pacers aren't doing? That they garner 30 times more eyes than the Pacers. I don't want to talk about city size. What is the organization doing that the Pacers organization isn't doing?
So they're bringing in players that have the eyes already that'll follow them to the stadium. Right?
Sure.
That's one tactic of growing your audience. Do a better job of trading. Do a better job in drafting. That's
Okay. So Luka Doncic, right?
yeah.
He's a name. So you're saying do a better job of trading, right? So Indiana has obviously done a better job of putting the pieces together. They just don't have the most marketable. Pascal Siakam is just not as marketable as Luka Doncic, but they're winning. I'm just using what you just said.
They're
I bring in Luka Doncic.
No, but you said exactly what I'm saying. They're not marketable. So why would people, if the majority of your audience aren't hardcore basketball fans, and you don't bring someone that brings the majority of the people that watch your sport,
but
if you don't cater to them, why would you?
But if I win 4 championships in 7 years,
doesn't always mean win.
Do I care? I don't care.
Entertainment doesn't always mean win.
All right, let me ask you this.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but like your coach was saying, if you have half a brain, the reason why you run a team is you want to win a championship.
Yes. Yes.
So if I win a championship, my players are not the most marketable. Me personally, I don't care. I just want to win.
Okay, you're talking about two different sides, right?
I just want to win.
Who's more marketable, the Knicks or the Spurs?
Obviously, it's the Knicks.
All right, the Knicks hasn't done anything in my 45 years of living. Spurs have 5 titles. How come the Knicks? What are the Knicks doing that the Spurs aren't doing?
I don't
outside of a location.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying to you. You're arguing two different sides of the basketball: the business versus the entertainment. Now, the entertainment drives the business, but you're saying I haven't seen a win. I haven't seen a win, right? Meanwhile, the Knicks haven't seen a win since 1970. What, 2? 3. And people are out there falling out in the streets.
Because it's New York. If it's the Pacers organization in New York,
drama of it.
It's the location. It's not drama.
No, it's the drama of it.
It's the location.
New York Knicks. If it was the Indiana Knicks, the same Knicks. If it was the Indiana Knicks and the New York Pacers, you would be wearing a Halliburton jersey right now. And people would be walking around with Pascal Siakam jerseys.
Y'all don't really understand what's happening here.
I do what you're saying. Do you know players realistically? Well, today's generation more so than ever. There's really only 5 or 6 cities that players really only want to play for. 5. There's how many teams in the NBA? There's 30.
Yeah.
There's only 5 cities that players really want to play for. That's New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Los Angeles, Chicago. And I'll throw in, even though their organization is a shambles, it's a great city, Washington. So out of 30 teams, there's only 6 major markets, media markets. Right? Am I right or wrong? So teams like Indiana, teams like Oklahoma, teams like Utah, teams like San Antonio, they have to build from the ground up by default because players really don't want to play there, and the superstar players probably want to leave because they get branding opportunities that you would get in LA that you don't get in OKC. I'm not disagreeing with you, Trisha, but the New York and Indiana, New York is a cheat code. It's a cheat code from the rip because New York is the greatest city in the United States.
You're not saying anything wrong. You're just conflating. You're conflating two sides of the business.
But what coach
I'm
is saying,
trying to tell you, guys, listen to me. I'm going to say it slower.
but what coach is
If
saying,
you have a circle and you wanted to carve out hardcore basketball players and fair weather players, you're going to
right?
get maybe like a quarter of them being hardcore and 75% being fair weather. If you want to make money, you got to cater a lot to the fair weather fan, because guess what? The hardcore basketball players don't need the marketing. They're already buying. This is not just basketball. This is regular business.
Right.
So
Not
we're not
disagree.
marketing to the hardcore basketball fan. We're marketing to the fair weather fan. The fair weather fan is going to follow the Flash. If the Flash,
Who produces the Flash?
the Flash comes anyway. Luka Doncic spent
Right.
how much time in Dallas, right? If Luka Doncic was in Dallas, he had eyes in Dallas. The Lakers made a move. They're like, listen, LeBron is getting older. We got to figure out what we got to do to keep these eyes. Luka Doncic, he was leading the league in points per game for the last maybe 2 seasons at 28 points. But not only is he going to be catchy to the fair weather fan, he's going to be catchy to the expanding market that we're looking at, because Europe is looking at him and they've been looking at him since 16. So you know what? F that. We're going to trade for that. Now, here's the issue with smaller market teams, because I'm a small market team fan too. Because of the income level that Indiana's, the Memphis's, maybe the OKC's have, it's very difficult to make the moves that the Lakers make, because you worry about luxury taxes, you worry about passing down extra fees, extra costs to your fans, because they cannot afford it. They cannot afford the game. So that is why you're not getting the attention, because you're not bringing in the 75%, and you actually care and have empathy about the people that live in the local neighborhood supporting the team. So you're not gonna take that risk. That's why it is. The most eyes Indiana had on them since Reggie Miller was when Lance MF and Stevenson came over there, and everybody was like, well, let's see what this clown is about to do. That's the last time, because it was entertainment.
But you just answered Coach's question. What he was saying. They're just victims of geographic
It's not a
location.
victim.
So there's nothing the Indiana Pacers organization can do. And let me get this straight. I am not mad. I think maybe I didn't verbalize who I'm upset with. I'm upset with the media, not all media, the media who swears and tells you they're basketball experts. They know the game. They've been covering the game for 20, 30 years. If that's the case, then you're looking for good basketball, the entertainment value and all that stuff that comes with it. But the top 5 NBA valuable franchises right now is Golden State's number 1. That's California. That's California.
Yeah.
New York, the Lakers, the Bulls, and the Rockets.
Exactly.
So tell me what could a small market possibly do to compete with any of that?
Take a risk.
What's the risk? When is the risk going to the NBA Finals? Is that the risk?
No. The risk is getting players that bring eyes to the game, or
win, right?
Doing it the OKC way, long tail, right?
Or get Siakam, who's up there, he's a champion up in Toronto, bring him here, and now we're on a historic run. And then people aren't saying they don't like Indiana because we don't play good basketball. They're saying it's Indiana. In which I'm saying, okay. So 75% of the country who don't know basketball, I really don't care. I don't care what they say. I care about the people who are going to sit there on TV and swear and tell me they're basketball experts. If you're a basketball expert and you're going to get these former NBA players on the podium and they're going to tell you about the game of basketball to try to educate you, then you can't tell me that this isn't the most exciting series. You can't. You can't tell me you would rather see New York.
I'm not.
They
are
saying that. They're saying that every day.
They're not covering it because they don't bring money to them. Like, even if it's on TV, right now, not enough of the Fairweather fans are interested.
You want to know why? Because
that's why you see the downness, because yes, they playing good basketball, but everybody's working for money. Everybody's working for money.
Okay. So when Stephen A. Smith gets up there and he's like orange and blue skies, and every time the New York Knicks win, he's the first person on the mic. He goes on his live on his Twitter, and then he goes on First Take, and he makes a big spectacle about every New York Knicks win, no matter how BS the win was. Right. Okay. So why can't you, as a media person who claims that you're a basketball expert, do the same for a team to beat your team? Why? Because
just for the same reason that you're arguing right now. There's no entertainment value, and this is an entertainment sport. You're like, I want pure basketball, right? Cool. You got pure basketball. You don't need to be marketed to. You don't need to be catered to. Because even if there was no YouTube, even if there was no Stephen A. Smith, you're still going to be interested in the game. Those people aren't for you. They are for the other 75%.
Right. But what I'm saying is this. Let's say I have the social media following, right? So whatever I say, people are going to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. That's Stephen A. Smith. All right. When Omar speaks, I'm like, man, I agree with Omar, and I'm giving Omar all this positive energy, right?
Right.
And then when you speak, I treat it like it's like a funeral setting. Like, oh, it's just Trish. You know what I'm saying? After a while, it's like, okay, I get it. Maybe Omar is more entertaining or whatever. But don't tell me that you're out for the truth and then you are spitting the truth, but I'm downplaying it with the way I cover you.
Can I be honest? This is still an Indiana Pacers problem. If you want people to cover you better, you have to put yourself in a different position. They need a rebrand. They need something, and I'll be very honest.
Tell me how to do it, and tell me what small market team has done it.
Oklahoma.
No one talks. No one cares about Oklahoma City.
No, yes, people do care about Oklahoma City.
Who?
Yes, they do. People care about Oklahoma City.
Who?
Right? The way that I can't really compare Oklahoma City marketing to you, but I actually sat down with one of the heads of marketing for Oklahoma City a number of years back, because what they did, the way they did it when they first launched, was kind of on the same tier as what they do for the college market, for colleges, right? They elected. Sorry, within the state itself, each county, they elected several quote unquote officers or quote unquote leads in each community, right? They gave them some kind of marketing packet. So maybe each of them had a garage size flag that they could hang outside on their garage, right? They each captain, that's what they were called, captain. Each captain in each county was able to hold what do you call those, viewing parties or other events in the county for each game, right? So they've done a whole bunch of things internally to market the team, but just the energy alone for Oklahoma City is kind of parallel to college. From the beginning of time, as someone who's been in marketing for 20 years, the Pacers have been the same. Show them your shirt. Edward.
All right. And I'm listening to your argument, Trish. I am. But I'm looking at the total value of each NBA franchise right now. You know, the Oklahoma City is worth $3.5 billion.
Okay.
You know, the Pacers are worth 3.4, and Oklahoma City's 24 out of 30, and Pacers are 26 out of 30. So whatever they're doing, they're not generating. They're 24th and 26th in the NBA. So tell me once again, what can a small market team do to crack the top 15?
Hold on. How old is Oklahoma?
Oh, now you just said that they were doing so much better than the Pacers.
How old is Oklahoma? How old is the team? How long have they been there?
I don't know when they left Seattle. What did they leave Seattle? What, Kevin Durant's rookie year?
When did Oklahoma, not Seattle, Oklahoma start? When was the first year of the team?
Kevin Durant's second year.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oklahoma City. Yeah, when they left Seattle.
2000
Kevin Durant.
what? 2000, what, 8?
10,
7?
8,
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
Okay, now look at your numbers with that lens.
Okay.
Oklahoma City, starting in 2008, is worth more than your team that started in before, when the Devils was a child.
Worth 3.5 to 3.4.
Yes. Yes.
You want to know some other teams that are worth more, ranked more. What I'm saying is this: when I look at this is all big markets, and what I'm saying is this: I know that we'll never get there, right? Just off of a courtside Pacer ticket is probably $300-400. I saw when the Pacers were playing the Knicks, people are paying thousands, right? So I get it. People came to New York, they flew to Indiana, and it was like, this is cheap, right? I get that. I'm 100% behind that. My argument is not the value. My argument is people who swear and tell me that they know basketball. And then they tell me that Tyrese Halliburton's not a superstar. And they tell me the Pacers aren't good. And they make it seem like every time we beat a team, it's magic luck. Like Jesus is up there with a Pacers shirt on.
Tyrese Halliburton wasn't a superstar before this year. They're not lying. They're not lying. You're just biased. Just admit it. And
okay, but you'll be the same person that tells me that Jalen Brunson is, and Tyrese Halliburton has put him out of the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Different because Jalen Brunson has brought a legend behind him. There's a story behind it.
No,
now
there isn't.
Halliburton
What story?
has a story.
No, what story? What has Brunson done?
Now
Brunson
he is a sharpshooter. He will take care if the game is on the line. That is now his legend. That is now his legacy.
Because he plays for the Knicks, Trish. If Jalen Brunson played for the Sacramento Kings, nobody would care about him. When he played for the Dallas Mavericks, was he a superstar?
No.
When he played with the Dallas Mavericks, was he a superstar?
No.
Were people talking about Jalen Brunson? Or
people
going around the country?
There was no you don't let me refocus because
it is what it is. Like
what's happening is the marketing is working on you guys, but you're not understanding what marketing is.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying Coach makes a valid point. Basketball fans are shallow. I'm not disagreeing with nothing you say. Everything is marketing. But basketball fans are shallow. What Coach is saying is if you're gonna base your basketball life and base a player on how the person is marketed to you, I have to question your basketball IQ and your fan and how much of a fan you are. That's all Coach is saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, but Coach makes a valid point.
So
Tyrese Halliburton is marketed as a boring player, and it's because of
he is not
how he plays
as a boring player.
And
He's
where
not
he plays
at all. And thank God Tyrese Halliburton is trying to take that on his own. The MF got to bring his sneakers and put it in front of him.
So if Tyrese,
because the Indiana's not going to do it for him.
If he wins,
the rest of the team is not going to do it for him.
See, this is why I kind of want Indiana to win the championship, because if they win the championship, I want to see if they catapult Tyrese and give him more marketing and brand opportunities.
Let's see, because they have.
That's why I'm kind of swaying towards Indiana.
Let's
SGA.
It depends on what they're doing, because they had Reggie Miller for God knows how long and didn't do nothing with him but make him a local town legend.
We're not disagreeing with you, but what you clearly know marketing. I don't want you to think that we are questioning your knowledge.
Yeah, we're not questioning.
What I'm saying is, tell me an example of a small market that did it right, that marketed their superstar and produced value behind them. Because when I look at this list, all the values have everything to do with that city's population. You give me small population.
The point that I try to make with your
Detroit
is also a variable, which is the age and the length of time the team has been in existence, because you accrue value like homes, like houses over time. So when you compared Oklahoma with Indiana, and Indiana is below Oklahoma, the variable I asked you is how long has Oklahoma the Pacers been in existence? Both are small market teams. This is apples to apples right now.
Okay.
Oklahoma is worth more than the Pacers, and I'm telling you what they did for marketing to do that when they had the superstar that they drafted. Right now, I don't know what picks the Pacers have. I don't know what kind of trades they're gonna have. They're gonna try to keep the team the same, and that's fine. They could do that. But this is not. Oh, the media doesn't market. No, these are moves, both internally with the team, how they choose to market in the state, and how to get the word about the state outside. Right, using tactics. They had Kevin Durant. They had Russell Westbrook. They had James Harden. And they made them household names. Blame your own friggin' team.
How did Oklahoma City's franchise do that? No, they you want to know why KD? No, you want to know why KD, Russ, and James Harden became household names? Because they went to the NBA Finals. That's it. It wasn't what Oklahoma City's franchise did. It's they went to the NBA Finals, and when James Harden flamed out, he went to Houston and he became his own superstar.
Trisha lives in New York.
And you only cared about that.
I was an Oklahoma City fan before.
Trish, hold on, Trish. You're not.
No, you are. You're an anomaly.
You are not a part of 75% we're talking about.
What
I'm talking about is Stephen A. Smith and the ESPN people saying on live television, all these note cards I got, all these are Oklahoma City note cards, and this one is for Indiana Pacers. And then when the Pacers win, they interview Tyrese Halliburton like they're shocked. Like, how does it feel? How does it feel? Wow, you see your dad in the stands? You ain't asked LeBron James, how does your mom? You see your mom in the stands? You ain't asked that because you were prepared to. And all I'm saying is this: if you tell me that it's a local New York station or a New York Knicks fan gets on here, I don't expect him to be objective. I'm not going to be objective about the Pacers. Right. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to go on national television and say you're a basketball expert, and every time there's some situation come on, you brag about you've been covering the NBA for X amount of years. Right. If you're going to put yourself above everyone else saying your basketball knowledge is up here, then act like it when good basketball is being played.
I agree with your assessment. And I just want you to know. You misunderstand the purpose of these podcasters and TV stations and where they positioned. And you have to understand that eyes make them money too. They are not basketball universities. They are not nonprofits. They're not here to educate. They're not here to teach you what good basketball is. That's your job.
And Gil's Arena does a great job. Yeah, that's what Gil's Arena does. Gil Arena does what you just said. No. I'm saying they don't teach. That's not their job. They're very biased. But what I'm saying is they're not standing up there saying, I'm the smartest guy in the room. And all I'm saying is if you're going to wave the flag saying I'm the smartest guy in the room, then be the smartest guy in the room. Don't be when New York wins. When New York wins, you're orange and blue skies and you're everywhere. And when New York loses, you're like, and when New York loses to a better team, you make it seem like it's luck, like angels were on top of the backboard and made the Pacers shots go in. And then you don't know what to ask somebody in the NBA final stage?
Angels did help the Pacers win, but besides the point.
Oh, so if God's a Pacer fan, then why aren't you?
The thing about it is you like there are less people in this United States, in this world that watch Pacers basketball than fair weather fans. You're not only asking them to support your brand of basketball, but you're asking them to sacrifice income. Put it in that perspective. Indiana needs to do a better job of promoting Indiana so that more people will say this is not a sacrifice of my income. And you let me do a story on them.
So how's Caitlin Clark the most? How's Caitlin Clark the most famous WNBA player ever?
It's not because she's in Indiana, but she
is in Indiana.
No, but she lives in Indiana, but she brought those eyes with her.
From Iowa.
from Iowa, just like Luca bought those eyes from wherever he's from in Dallas.
You're not.
They're
You're not.
following. It's like an influencer.
You're not wrong, Trisha. Indiana. I've never been to Indiana, but correct me if I'm wrong. Basketball is not the primary sport, correct?
It is. What
No, it
else
is.
they
It's
do
the
in
number.
Indiana?
It's the number one
Okay,
sport.
so I stand corrected. It is a marketing issue because I mean, even in the year
Exactly.
even in the year 2000 when Indiana went to the finals, that came and went, right? You had Larry Bird, you had Chris Mullin, you had Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and people were still like, you know. I mean, they played the Lakers, so that's why people probably tuned
From
in
the
more.
beginning of time, Omar, the Indiana Pacers have had a marketing issue. Even when I was a kid and Reggie Miller was on there, they even the aura of the team is so low frequency that you don't even want to cheer for them, even though that you see good basketball.
You're not wrong. We know it's
Since
marketing.
1990.
But what coach is trying to say you're trying to win championships.
The organization is trying to win championships. I'm trying to be entertained.
But how do you know? How do you know when the Lakers have half of their games on TNT? How do you know if there's any? That's the problem. How do you know if there's any even entertainment out there? Because nobody was talking about Ant Edwards until they went on that playoff run, and then all of a sudden, because he dunked on somebody and he looked like Jordan one time, and now they want to push him, right? So what I'm saying is, you're ESPN. You're not competing for eyes. If you start covering the Pacers, people ain't gonna be like, "Screw ESPN, I'm turning it off." They're not.
Question. You know what? Where that gets fixed? Your players' agents to get them non-local specific deals where these other bigger companies are promoting the sneakers and their shirts and whatever jewelry they have,
But
and they're putting the effort to push that player's brand outside of the market of Indiana.
You know the one example that goes against everything you say though. Look at the value of LeBron James when he became a Laker. Look at he became a billionaire once he became a Laker. He was a better player in Miami and Cleveland, and they did everything. Nike did everything to market, even did the little puppet things with Kobe because it was supposed to be Cleveland and Lakers. But when he became a Los Angeles Laker, he became a billionaire.
What is Los Angeles known for?
Hollywood, movies,
Entertainment. Stories.
Okay.
He moved to a team in Story Central, the team that knows how to craft stories.
So if the Lakers team moved to Indiana, they can make Indiana better by telling the same stories they told in LA. That answer is no.
If Indiana moved to LA,
if Tyrese Halliburton got traded to the Lakers tomorrow, everybody would be having the purple and gold zero.
Exactly.
All around.
Do better. Do better.
How?
Do better. Do different marketing. Do other things. You have to understand again that Oklahoma's, but they're people that are seniors in college that are older than the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they are worth more than you. Look at them
by 0.1.
Look at them. By 0.1, and the Pacers are what, 60 years old?
Pacers have been in the NBA since the late 70s.
So they're almost 60?
They're almost 50.
They're almost 50. So
we just turned 50. Yeah, we're like
more than double the time, right? The Pacers have been
but
in
Oklahoma City didn't start a franchise. They got the Seattle Supersonics.
No, listen, sir. Don't even do that. Don't even do that.
But they did. Is that not true?
The people from Seattle did not come over to Oklahoma. They didn't. The people that followed the Sonics didn't say, "Okay, it's time to change."
They're ranked 24, Trish. So you're making it like the Oklahoma City are ranked 7th and the Pacers are 26.
Listen,
they are
I'm
24.
only comparing the Pacers to Oklahoma. I'm not comparing them to the rest of the roster. We're doing apples to apples. It's a 45-minute walk from Indiana to Oklahoma. Okay. Right? 45 minutes. They're double the age of Oklahoma, but Oklahoma is worth more. Oklahoma put in the work. All I'm trying to tell you is stop complaining and put in the work. Hire a marketing or a different marketing team.
And do what? But tell me that once again. Tell me the small town team.
What is that?
That has cracked the top 10 that has done that. And then explain to me how come LeBron James' personal value doubled when he left Cleveland and went to LA. And that had nothing to do with him.
It's difficult. It's difficult, and I think we should move on to the topic because I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually gonna start a school on this. I actually am gonna start a school on this because I don't think people understand how important it is to be able to make a story.
You're right. But
since the beginning of time, since we were born, Omar, the first thing our parents put in front of our face is a story.
Was a book, yeah. You're not wrong, but if Indiana wins the championship, does it matter?
No, it does matter because you could be. Let me put it in corporate terms. You could be the hardest worker at your job and not get the promotion. You could be the best. You're gonna be the best producing person at your job, but your boss likes somebody else better.
The Spurs won 5 championships in the 90s. Did they care?
Right. You could win 5 championships, and still people will prefer to be a Knicks fan. Why? Because we were bred since the beginning of time to like stories.
Yeah,
the Utah Jazz are worth more than the San Antonio Spurs.
You're not wrong, Trish. What I'm saying is, from a basketball fan's perspective, we could go to Indiana right now, and what Pacer fans, including Coach, their main concern right now is winning the championship. They're not concerned about marketing. LeBron James has a story, right?
You gotta ride and whistle.
Joel Embiid has a story. He's home. LeBron James has a story. They're home.
Halliburton have plenty of stories.
Jalen Brunson has a story. He's home.
Tyrese Halliburton has plenty of stories. It just takes one person because we all shooting in the gym.
But he's home.
Marketing people, the tickets are already bought.
But he's
people
home.
Are already going to come to this game. What else are you doing?
But he's home.
Sit down with Tyrese and ask him what the stories are. They should be running YouTube videos of how hard it took him to learn this. The first time he bumped his knee on the ground, the first time he got braids, his first breakup. They
have been. They've been putting he's been when he started hitting these clutch shots, everybody's like Tyrese Halliburton has been clutch since high school. So
Just now.
Okay, so once again, what about my whole premise?
Sometimes I dream.
Trish is right.
He is me.
Okay, all right, stop. That sometimes I dream that he is me. Yeah. You mean to tell me that Jordan would have made that same amount of money in Indiana with that same marketing strategy? No.
Sometimes I dream.
Mm-hmm. He's in Chicago. He's in the 3rd largest city in the country.
Let me say the words again because you think I'm trolling. Sometimes I dream that he is me. They made a song for fair weather fans to relate to. And called myself out twice in the first.
Yo, you're not.
And you're telling me that exact marketing strategy would have worked equally everywhere.
It worked when Jordan came out.
He's in Chicago, the 3rd biggest city in the nation.
It wouldn't have worked in Utah.
I'm in New York, and I know the song.
Actually, I gotta jump into this.
It wouldn't have worked in Utah.
Everyone supports winner. Like Jordan could be in any city, as long as he's winning. It will work regardless of where he goes.
So then why are people gravitating
to be in Chicago?
Why aren't people gravitating? No, then why aren't people gravitating? Why didn't people gravitate to San Antonio that won 5?
Right, exactly.
San Antonio was boring. I've heard this from casual fans. That is not. They don't San Antonio didn't play. They didn't play a sexy style of basketball. They were very basic. It was all fundamental.
You just answer my question.
Tim Duncan, Mr. Fundamental himself. There was no flash. There was no flash in San Antonio.
There was no
very
flash
boring.
to Mono.
Only pure
Hold on.
Only pure
Mono
basketball.
Ginobili. Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, those dudes wasn't flashy. Those things, those people weren't exciting to watch.
Well, the headliner wasn't
compared
flashy.
to not compared to, let's say, Allen Iverson or Dwayne Wade. No.
But you just answered what I was trying to say. Tim Duncan, because he wasn't, and this is what the media does. They doing the same thing to Jason Tatum, and he plays in Boston. The reason why they don't want to elevate him because he's boring. There's no story to him. And what I'm saying to Trish, you're not wrong, but you have to evaluate as a fan, what do you value more? That's all I'm saying. You're not wrong.
I'm not talking.
You got players that's never gonna win a championship, and they're marketed heavy. Allen Iverson is a prime example. Allen Iverson is culturally, outside of Jordan and a couple others, the most influential player in basketball that never won a title because he has a story to him. He didn't win nothing. So you're not wrong. What we're saying is, as a fan, what do you value more? That's what
kids wanted to be like Iverson, though.
Right. I get all that.
They wanted to be like him.
Tyrese Halliburton is an excellent basketball player. We're starting to see it. But because stylistically, he's not exciting.
Hold on. Pause.
They're gonna gravitate more to Ant-Man than Halliburton.
No, how is this style hitting more buzzer beaters than anybody in NBA history? How is that not exciting? If you tell me that's not exciting, you're telling me you don't like basketball.
No. I'm just saying. More people will gravitate to Ant-Man than Halliburton.
I agree, because he's more charismatic and the way he plays the game. But I'm going back to this point again. If you got to put your hat on. Do you want to win championships, or do you want to be the human highlight film like Dominique Wilkins
and Vince Carter?
Do you want to win?
I don't know if I just need to. Maybe I need to say it differently.
No. This is what we've been doing for the past 40 minutes. We've been trying to say it.
Because I get it. I understand it. I get what you're saying.
I can't win a championship. What do you mean? I don't know how to put it in your head. That is not relatable.
You know, what I'm saying to you is Jalen Brunson is more popular than Tyrese Halliburton because he plays in New York.
All losers.
No, because he plays New York.
Jalen Brunson every day of our lives. That is why.
Well, in Jalen Brunson's case, he's playing, New York,
We lose.
And they're winning.
Day.
They're not winning. They didn't win anything.
No, I said compared to what was going on in New York the last 20-something years, this is the best the Knicks have been.
Yeah, correct. And then you fired the guy who was responsible for it. Great job.
Not me. That's Dolan.
No. There's no way.
Trish, I 300% understand what you're saying. Like, I'm clear. But now going back,
Jordan, if we can't win like Michael Jordan, he made a song about dreaming like him.
That's because of what,
to be fair, that song came out before he won his first championship.
Exactly. That's what Coach was saying. Because Jordan was marketed as the best player ever before the legacy accolades came in. I'm a Bulls fan. I know this. He was marketed as the greatest player ever before he even won anything. Against the Celtics, he scored 63 points. And they marketed him from there.
Hold on. Bobby Knight said when he coached him in the Olympics, they said Houston has the number one pick and Houston needs a center. What would you do? And Bobby Knight says, I would draft Michael Jordan and play him as center.
Exactly.
So I get that. So that was an NBA tactic not to let him go number 2 to Portland. He had to go number 3 to Chicago because Chicago's bigger than Portland. And all I'm saying is, how fair? What can a small? No. You wouldn't know Michael Jordan because Clyde Drexler was just as good. Clyde Drexler was a damn good shooting guard, and nobody talks about him.
Clyde Drexler was begging Portland to draft Jordan, and he said he'll slide over to the 3.
No, but what I'm saying is this: it is where you are, and I can live with that. Jeremy, before you got in, my point was this. If you're Stephen A. Smith, you're calling yourself Stephen Naismith because you know the game so well. right? And you've covered it for 30 years and you know this game so well, then it really shouldn't matter where the good basketball comes from. Every time the Pacers beat the Knicks, he made it like God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit was on the court with Tyrese Halliburton. Like, I can't believe this is even happening. He has nothing tactical to say, but every time Cat scored 30 points, he made it like Cat's the next coming to Patrick Ewing.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is you are shifting the narrative. You are making it seem like if it happens in New York, it's great. If it happens in Indiana, it's boring. And if you keep saying that, then people are going to be like, I want to go to New York.
He's a Knicks fan too, so there's some bias right there.
But Monica McNutt, all of them. Listen, go back and look.
But Monica, she actually works with the Knicks.
Okay.
He works in the NFP network.
Okay. All right. The Knicks are in the finals. Go back and watch the way they covered after the game. He just hit a buzzer beater in the NBA finals. If a Laker would have done it, if a Bull would have done it, if a Knick would have done it, the energy of the ESPN coverage would have been completely the same.
Exactly.
But because a Pacer did it, oh my God, they made it seem like.
But they're the underdog right now.
Come on, Trish. You're too bright not to know that.
I'm gonna let y'all talk because just like
you
y'all
are too
not hardcore basketball players, y'all are not hardcore people that understand marketing. So have at it, because it's just wrong.
He's telling the truth, bro. Look,
no, he's not.
It's where
not.
It is primarily where you at.
What did I lie about? What did I lie about?
And it's marketing.
It's because they're over there.
No. You're right about the story because Jason Tatum is the centerpiece of what you're saying. Because Jason Tatum doesn't have a controversial story.
He doesn't have, and I don't know what he sounds like.
He plays in Boston, so you can't use that.
Exactly.
But because he doesn't have a story, they're not going to market him.
LeBron James had the same story in Cleveland, in Miami, and back to Cleveland. He became a billionaire when he went to the Lakers.
It's not the same story.
It's the same exact story.
It's a story that, I'm just proud of my industry because it's working. Like the stuff y'all are saying.
Okay, Karl Malone and John Stockton, right? When the Bulls played the Jazz, right? And people tuned in primarily because of the Bulls. What if Karl Malone and John Stockton would have played the Indiana Pacers? We would have been having this conversation back then. People would have been saying stuff back then, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a very hard concept to grasp, especially since I don't think any of you guys are like, you guys are on social media, but you don't participate in social media either. Mm-hmm. The people that the reason why major companies are chasing these influencers is because they understand how to create relatable content. Because no matter how good the product is, no matter how much you say you're winning, no matter how much your prices are low, no matter how much something might help you, you're not gonna buy unless there's a story behind it, and other people on other people's levels are promoting it to you and saying, yo, you need to get this. This is how TikTok is working. This is how YouTube been working. This is how Instagram been working. This is where companies like Unilever, the biggest one of the biggest brands in the world, has dropped 50% of their marketing tactics to go to influencers because they know how to relate to other people. I keep saying, sometimes I dream that he is me.
I get that.
Can't dunk. I cannot win championships. More importantly, I can't make clutch shots. I might not even be able to shoot. Why? How do you want me to relate to this man? How should I connect with this man?
I think we get that. And like I said, you're not wrong. I think we understand that. It's just
the more people that they can make this leap, this connection with, right? The more that he can get those people, that's when you're gonna see it.
We understand that. But I think Indiana and from hearing from interviews from the outside in, Pascal Siakam, they're concerned about winning the championship. They're not concerned about marketing, and thus,
because that's the room, that's the ceiling for us. We can't possibly compete with marketing of New
Everybody
York and LA.
compete with marketing. You're just lazy. So stop it. Stop it.
So instead of saying that, tell me what the Pacers should do, and tell me one small market that has done
relatable content.
So no small market has done that.
Pacers need to win. That's all.
That's what they need to do.
No, she said the winning doesn't matter.
And no one cares.
She said that no, it doesn't matter.
You guys are winning and no one cares. I'm trying to get you to realize in order for me to care, I have to relate to you. Do relatable content. If you don't want to do it, just keep winning. I'll still not care.
So let's.
No, you may not care, but I'm talking like people who appreciate basketball.
That's not what he wants.
Indiana wasn't on no one's radar.
No, but that's not what he wants, Jeremy. He wants the rest of us to care. I don't give a damn about Indiana. I've never been to Indiana.
Trisha, I never said that. I said if you're gonna say, you love the game of basketball.
Yep.
Then you should
sacrifice my income.
It doesn't.
Tell people about your team.
It shouldn't matter.
Tell people about your team.
It shouldn't matter.
You do it first.
I live in Indiana.
You need a dynasty.
Apparently, I've done it. I'm living in Indiana.
No, you get up every day and make Indiana Pacer content. If you don't like the other people that's trying to make a living, for people that actually watch the product.
No, Trish, I'm saying this. You're a marketing person, so you did smart by moving and living in New York. You did smart because you did smart. What I'm saying is this: you cannot make the same amount of money in Indiana, so you did smart. But what you can't do is tell me that my way will work anywhere, but you keep going to big cities.
That's what you said. In 2025, we could just go on YouTube.
We could just
go watch Indiana basketball.
You can.
In 2025, you could just go on YouTube and talk about Indiana basketball.
You can watch it.
Do it.
That's what I do. Trish, what do you think I've been doing for the past since we started this podcast?
Do
Every day.
Do it more.
I'm here.
Make other people care, and then they'll watch it. I'm trying to tell you, if you want me to care about Tyrese Halliburton, tell me more than he makes clutch shots. Great job, but I'm still not relating to you. And relatable content is what people want.
Hey, the only thing I know about Jalen Brunson is his daddy is a coach. That's all I know. And that same story in Dallas, when nobody knew or cared who he was. Then he moved to New York, and all of a sudden it's Jalen Brunson, and he got all this fame. And I'm telling you, it's only because he plays in New York. If Jalen Brunson played for the Charlotte Hornets, no one would care about him.
LaMelo.
Unless they're winning. Everyone likes winners.
If LaMelo Ball, I only have to do hypothetical.
So,
LeBron James, the face, doubled his value just by becoming a Laker. That had nothing to do with the Lakers marketing firm. That had everything to do that the Lakers are in LA. If it was the Utah Lakers and LeBron goes there, he's not a billionaire. He's a wealthy man. He's not a billionaire. That's why he went to LA to improve his value.
You're right.
What I'm saying is it is geographical, and I don't care. That's the way it is. You got more people there. That makes sense. The math is math.
He should have came to New York.
The math is mathing. But what I'm saying is, don't tell me you are basketball. You are knowledgeable about the game, and you care about good basketball, and then shit on Indiana and OKC because they're not from New York or LA.
Yep, because that's why some people I know said they're not watching the NBA Finals for that same superficial reason.
And they say it's Indiana.
Right. I heard that verbatim. I said, why you not watching the NBA Finals?
Anybody watch anything?
But it goes back to Coach's point. I've heard people say this verbatim. Yo, why you not watching the NBA Finals? Yo, man, I want to watch that shit, yo. Indiana OKC? Nobody want to see that. What do you think they mean by when they say that?
They fans of other teams.
If it was the Knicks and OKC, it'd be a different conversation right now. Mm-hmm. OKC, smaller market. Knicks, obviously New York City.
Mm-hmm.
That's why most people are not watching the NBA Finals because of Indiana and OKC are not sexy places to live. Period. They're not sexy states.
If it makes sense
cities.
to you, you can say that. I'm telling you from being a marketing professional that is not the reason.
Okay, all right. Well, we won't see eye to eye on that. I get it, but I just want to say once again,
Pascal Siakam.
But if Pascal Siakam was a Knick, you would be telling me how great he is.
Because they would cater a freaking story behind him so I could buy in. They spend the time to craft a story so I would like him, even though I shouldn't.
Okay, so
look at him on Shumpert. He should be an 11th man on any team, but they made a whole freaking marketing campaign behind him, and so now I like him on Shumpert. That's how it works.
Those people in Times Square that was chasing that guy in the Halliburton jersey, they don't care about stories. They care that jersey says New York. That's it. They don't care about their damn stories. If they trade Cat tomorrow, they're not going to feel bad about it. They're going to be like, oh, well, you fired your best coach in franchise history.
They'll trade him in a heartbeat to get Giannis or KD.
Thank you. And if Giannis goes to New York, would his value stay the same or would it double?
Yep.
Skyrocket.
Thank you. And would it skyrocket because of New York's marketing team or because of the location?
What's the question?
If Giannis gets traded to the Knicks tomorrow,
location.
What does his value do over the next year? Does it stay the same or does it skyrocket?
Location. If Anthony Edwards got traded to the Knicks tomorrow, he's already a charismatic person. He's already perceived as charismatic. They're trying to elevate him. If he got traded to the Knicks tomorrow,
he becomes the face of the NBA.
He'll be the face of the NBA.
Who?
He'll be the face of the NBA.
If Anthony Edwards was a New York Knick, he's the face of the NBA for sure. Y'all probably take down the Statue of Liberty and put his statue right there.
If he wins a championship, they'll do that.
I don't know how else to put.
Don't let him win 4. Don't let him win 4 over here.
Look, Chris, you understand. So Reggie Miller was very charismatic and he had a story to him. He was very charismatic, had a lot of personality, right?
Yeah.
So let's just blame God for making Tyrese Halliburton. He's not the most charismatic individual, right?
I didn't say that Tyrese Halliburton is very charismatic. He is. That's why I keep saying Indiana's friggin' lazy. So don't blame everybody else but yourself because you got something here.
If Reggie Miller played for the Knicks, would he be more?
No.
If he did,
that's laziness. Blame where you're at. I'm not in New York. That's why nobody likes me. Shut up. You have Tyrese Halliburton. Look,
I know.
At least
we don't care about New York. We beat New York twice. We don't care about
after Tyrese Halliburton. The man got to come out with his own sneakers under his hand and be like, okay, guys, look at my thing, because he know his team not going to do it for him.
Dwayne Wade did the same thing. Did Miami Heat not do the same?
He know his team is not going to do it for him.
Dwayne Wade did the same thing.
Do it for him.
Dwayne Wade actually left the Jordan brand.
Do it for him. I can't stress this enough. See, this is lazy talk. You have Tyrese Halliburton. Your marketing guy is sitting home sleeping, talking about game 1, how great y'all did, when he should be in the freaking lab figuring out how to do some social media to promote your players.
But you know what's going to happen? They're going to see Tyrese, who plays for Indiana, skip. They're not going, but they're going to like Jalen Brunson
right now.
They gotta win. I promise you, if the Pacers wins back-to-back or 3-peat, they're gonna get their publicity.
Okay. All right. Pause. New York Knicks have never repeated or won a 3-peat. So once again, I'm saying switch it. All right, Jeremy, switch this around. Tyrese Halliburton is the point guard for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson is the point guard for the Pacers. Who's more popular?
Halliburton, because New York would spend time marketing him.
What are they doing that the Pacers aren't?
The same things that
the only thing they're doing is printing a jersey.
They're
printing a jersey that says New York. They're printing a jersey that says New York. It's the fan base.
No,
the rabid fan base of the Knicks.
You know, one time I was casted in something. Well, I don't know if I should say that out loud, but just to get their players, just to get their players.
Now you gotta say the name.
The marketing that you don't see. They put money into marketing to even the players. I'm talking full-on productions that you're not seeing, just to say, hey, please play for me all out. I'm talking production crews and all of that. You gotta put in that work. Basketball is great. I love basketball. You love basketball. But if you really want what players to gravitate to Indiana, if you really want people to watch more Indiana basketball, you got to do the things that make people watch. Last time I paid attention to you, Ron Artest was running in the stands because I'm fighting every freaking day of my life. Relatable stuff. You have to be relatable.
Yeah, so what's more relatable? What's more relatable?
Casual fan though.
Yeah, what's more relatable? What's more relatable? Putting 6 people in double figures and you don't know who our best player is? Is that relatable? Or I'm LeBron James, I'm bigger, stronger, faster than everybody, and everybody's lower than me. To me,
LeBron
the working
James,
man,
the dad.
That's not relatable. Oh,
the
so
dad
not,
that plays basketball with my son. That's why they keep saying it over and over.
I wanna jump in. I play basketball, and I have yet to come across a basketball player who gives a damn about stories. We only care, can this do ball?
And that's why people don't know when the games are.
And you want to know why the narrative against Jason Tatum? Think about this: if ESPN didn't say anything about anybody, people would rank Jason Tatum top 5 in the league because of what he did. But because ESPN gets on there and they talk about, well, I don't know about him, and he's kind of boring, and he's not. He's got to do what Ann Edwards do and have 5 kids by 5 women. Is that what he got to do?
Let me.
Basically,
is that going to be more relatable to people?
No,
because
let me. This is spontaneous. Let me tell you what Jason Tatum did wrong. And this is not just my opinion.
Well, what did he do wrong?
This is me talking to
real people in Boston,
people that actually live in Boston, that's not biased, and they just sit down and say, what the fuck? Jason Tatum is a winner, like y'all said. He has a championship. Y'all said. He has just as many championships as Giannis, right?
Yeah, 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. By the way, I want to just say I believe Jason Tatum is the best player on Boston Celtics.
You have eyes. That's good.
All right. He wins a championship. Hey, Jason, you won the NBA championship. What are you going to do now? Anything is possible. He spent every time that someone put a camera in his face for some kind of troll, for some kind of internal thing, repeating what everybody else said in their championships instead of using his own words. So even at the top, we don't know what he sounds like as a winner because he thought it would be funny to repeat what everybody else said in any championship they said before to see if we caught it. Now look at him. He's fighting for people say, well, Jason Tatum's not playing. We'll just watch Jaylen Brown. Like he's like they're interchangeable. He didn't take the opportunity at the top to actually solidify his own brand. Listen, Jaylen Brown, as much as I troll him,
maybe he doesn't care.
He's okay. But the leader of this team is Jason Tatum. But he didn't take the time when all the cameras were in his face to actually give us his voice.
Maybe he doesn't care.
What do you mean he doesn't care? He got on the mic and said, I want to be Eastern Conference MVP.
It's okay. So now let's talk about this. He led them in points, assists, rebounds, every statistical category that mattered in the Eastern Conference Finals and in the finals. How come he didn't get the MVP?
Can I do that?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
How come he didn't get the MVP?
And he led in every statistical category.
Are you talking about last year?
Yeah. Jaylen Brown did not one thing better than him.
Let me. I'll tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Jaylen Brown did the same thing that fools everybody about Jimmy Butler. He'll throw himself on the ground if he's diving for a ball. If he's exhausted, we know. God damn it. If he falls on the
like Jeremy said, this is for the casual fan. I get it. It's a business. You have to attract the casual fan. I understand that.
So if the casual fan said Jaylen Brown's better than Jason Tatum, it doesn't bother me. But when these media people who are voting for these awards will sit here with a straight face and say, I know basketball, I know what greatness is, I know the game better than you, that's why I have this job. And you vote for Jaylen Brown, who did nothing statistically better than Jason Tatum. Nothing, not one thing.
Have drank the Kool-Aid, and you are trying to make revenue off the Kool-Aid.
So what did they do? So they made more money by giving it to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum?
Because let's do like tactical marketing terms. If 75% of the pie falls in love with Jaylen Brown, that means on any given day, like within my sport, within my team, I might see upwards to maybe 50% of people searching the term Jaylen Brown when he's playing. So if I want to make revenue off of the internet, YouTube, my blog, whatever, I'm going to put the keyword and always talk about Jaylen Brown because he's now at the forefront of everybody's mind and their search. If my site gets pulled up because you search Jaylen Brown, then the ads on my site can run and I can make more money.
Okay, but when that happens, that's how Gil's Arena start. When that happens, because they talk about Bronny, they talk about everything. They go on social media and see what everybody's talking about, and then that's what they talk about. Mm-hmm. When that happens, you cannot come with a straight face and be like, I'm a better commentator than TNT Cast. You can't tell me that because now you just told me that you just go by and look and see. And if everybody's talking about Bronny, let's talk about Bronny today.
Why would I do anything else if I search something else and I'm talking to myself?
And I'm telling you, you're making the decision to make money, and I understand that. That's why the big cities, the big markets make so much money.
Don't jump into the city, make a friggin' story, and people will search Halliburton.
All right, tell me a story where they're in a bottom 10 market. Tell me a story that's ever been told in any sport that now made that guy as popular as he would have been if he was in a major market. Because I keep giving you the example of LeBron James. He was the face of the league. Nike made a puppet commercial with him and Kobe because they wanted them to play in the NBA Finals. There was no higher athlete than LeBron James, maybe Tiger Woods. And when LeBron James hit the ceiling of Cleveland, that's why he went to the Lakers to go to the mansion level of a ceiling. And what I'm saying is that had nothing to do with marketing team. That had nothing to do with a story. It had everything to do with geographical location because there's more people in LA than there are in Cleveland. Let me
pump the brakes for you. LA is the master of marketing. You want to know why?
Because there's more people out there.
Nope. Don't even say that.
And California sells because the Hollywood story.
They have 3 teams in one freaking state. They're fighting within their own state. Let me tell you why. And it was a good choice, but it was because of their marketing power.
They got 4 teams.
They got 4 teams fighting for the same market. The reason why the Lakers are so good at marketing is because they never stop with the storylines because they're in the Hollywood whatever area. But not on top of that, the thing that Indiana has above LA is that LA is what we call a transient city. And transient means I come in and out, but I never plan on staying. Mm-hmm. This is a vacation destination, but not residential. If I'm going to Indiana, damn it, it's either a convention or I live there. You have the people that are stable and steady to churn a story. They always got to keep churning because people are coming in and out not long enough to establish, hey, this is my residency and I have to have pride, like New York. In New York, it's like no matter what, I got to be pro New York because I live here. Now, we got airports and people coming in and out, but most of the people that are Knicks fans probably don't even live in Manhattan. Right? They live in the boroughs outside of Manhattan and they travel there to see the game. The LA Lakers know that people are coming to LA for casting, vacation, whatever, but they're not coming there to stay. So it's even harder to market there. You got to have a story that no matter where those people go outside of LA, they're going to carry it with them. That is so important. So figure out how to do it. That's all I can say. Because they don't have, like, it's not a residential area.
What if they don't care about that?
What do you mean if they don't care?
What if that's not their concern? It wasn't the Spurs. It wasn't the San Antonio Spurs' concern.
No, listen, the San Antonio Spurs did the best they could do for what they had, but they were all about stories, and stories don't even have to be a lengthy thing. Like the reason why you call it, I mean, he was in the military, but you're calling them the admiral, you're calling them big fundamentals, you're doing all these veteran based events, right? You're catering to the people and making your basketball relatable to them.
Yeah,
They did everything they could.
I'll give you Detroit. 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 The Pistons when they won back to back. That was a story that they were. It was a thing. I'll give you that. They were marketed.
But Isaiah still is underrated because he played in Detroit. And if Isaiah played in a bigger market, he would be bigger. Let me give you this example: Shaquille O'Neal. How come Shaquille O'Neal really left Orlando? To be more marketable, to make more money in LA.
Make movies.
His value, and then his.
They didn't want to pay him though, because he was in Orlando with Disneyland.
He was with Disney.
They didn't want to pay him.
Hold on.
Because Miami
it was only a $20 million difference, and that's
he wanted because Alonzo Mourning had the bigger contract.
But listen to it.
That didn't sit well with him.
Orlando offered 100, and the Lakers offered 120. Now 100 million in Orlando is way more than 120 in LA, so it can't be the money. It can't be just that contract.
He wanted to be, the highest paid player, and just for the simple fact that he felt and knows he's better than Alonzo Mourning. But Alonzo Mourning at that time had the highest contract going on, and that didn't sit well with him. So when LA offered him the money, but also you're halfway right. You're partially right, because also, the glamour of, the movies and stuff like that, but also the Lakers have a richer history than Orlando. That's why Shaq. And then Jerry West played a part in that too.
But all I'm saying, my last statement is this, and then we can move on. I'm sorry for holding it. My thing is this: when you say do better by the marketing team in Indiana, all I'm asking is, what could a small market team do, and what has been done? What has been done? No, because San Antonio won five championships.
So I don't think
San Antonio championships was spaced apart, and like they played a boring style of basketball. If the Spurs had a high flyer, put Kobe Bryant on the Spurs.
So it goes back to Duncan.
Guaranteed.
It goes back to Duncan.
That's the sexy play. People want to see dunks. It's the style of play. That's what's going to attract the casual fan. And I hate casual fans because I feel they're the ones who's ruining the product for people who actually appreciate pure basketball. Like these finals, this is going to be a great finals, and a lot of people are going to miss out on it just for the simple fact is, like I said, because of the fact that it's OKC and Indiana. People miss out on a great game last night.
Yeah.
Okay. Where y'all think KD going? I don't care.
Yeah. You're not in the mood. You're not in the mood to talk about somebody you hate.
They say he's going to New York. Y'all, what do you think?
There's narratives and rumors, man.
Here's my question: There's two places I could see KD going, and it's about winning. I could see him going to Houston, and I could see him going to San Antonio. If he wants to win. Everything else, the LA, the Knicks, that's about what we've been talking about the whole show, about making more money. But if you're talking about, hey, I want to put myself in the best position to win, it's Houston or San Antonio.
Yep.
That's where I would like to see him go.
I would say the Knicks too, but if the Knicks if they have to give up a lot just to get KD, it's not worth it.
I mean, they're gonna have
to. They're gonna want something.
They got it. Well, here's the thing. He left OKC because the narrative was pushed that Russ wouldn't pass him the ball in crunch time, right? Mm-hmm. You think Jalen Brunson is passing Kevin Durant the ball in crunch time?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's a great question. I mean, me personally, I would defer to Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant has 2 championships and I don't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're speaking the same language, but to me, right. I'm saying he left OKC because the narrative was, Russ wasn't giving him the ball in the crunch time. Jalen Brunson is not giving Kevin Durant the ball in crunch time. So why would Kevin Durant go to the Knicks?
That wasn't the reason. But
no, I'm saying that's the narrative they pushed.
Brunson would have to swallow his pride because I know y'all heard. I think Monica. No, it wasn't Monica. It was. Why am I having a brain? The coach of the Aces.
Oh, Becky Hammond.
Becky Hammond. And she said that Brunson cannot be the face of the Knicks because he's too small.
She said he's not a Batman because he's too small.
Right. I mean, historically, you guys know this from you guys are basketball people. Historically, a point guard who's a leading scorer of your team, historically in NBA, you're not going to win a championship. So it's only happened 3 times, 4 times, right?
Isaiah, and Steph,
and maybe Magic Johnson, right?
No, but I don't think Magic was ever the leading scorer. I thought, yeah, but I know for a fact it's Steph and Isaiah.
And Steph Curry, he's listed as a point guard, but we all know he's really a shooting guard, but that's for another conversation. But the Jalen Brunson's volume, like he's the leading scorer by far. To me, that's the number one reason why the Knicks are not going to win a championship. He's the leading scorer,
and he's a net zero. He does nothing defensively well,
right?
So, but my thing is, so if that's the truth, then why would Kevin Durant, basketball wise, why would the Knicks be attractive?
Because they're delirious. It's all about the plot.
And you have to do that with Knicks fans.
It's easier to come out the East than the West.
Okay, that's some more PC response.
I mean, why would Kevin Durant is a sensitive individual? Why would he want to play here?
Because he thinks that he could, but then when he gets here, he's gonna hate it. So,
right. Why would he come here?
Because he thinks he can handle it, but he can't.
We've tortured her enough with the KD talk.
But it's that time of the show again. It's time for Beat the Machine, where we give you a dossier of players.
Oh, you're doing the Stephen A. Smith now. That's how Stephen A. Smith introduces the Pacers.
What?
It doesn't matter. It's okay. But then if you bring energy to this, you know what I'm saying?
Listen.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm coming. You had me sit down through 90 seconds of Kevin Durant talk. I'm doing my best.
Now you sound like you're covering the Pacers. See,
right.
I knew he was going to get there.
I was like, this team in the yellow won.
Hey, by the way, she was making fun of, this is the old school Pacer logo, but I said it looks like a tennis ball. It doesn't even look like a basketball.
That's from the 70s, right? Or the 80s?
80s, yeah. 70s, 80s, yeah.
Actually, Coach, man, I'm probably swaying more towards wanting Indiana to win, especially after this conversation, man. I like
why? Why?
Because I like rooting for the underdog.
When I saw Halliburton perform, this side of the Pacers, how they fought. What I said they like pit bulls.
And
I appreciate that.
And I know how much sports are to especially smaller cities. I know what it does. So there's a side to me that's swaying towards Indiana for all the time. But
Oklahoma is a small city. Why wouldn't you want them to win?
Because Oklahoma is revered more than Indiana. They're the favorites to win, and they're revered more. People actually want OKC to win more than Indiana, especially if you're a Knicks fan.
Listen, let me tell you something.
They have
We just talked about real basketball fans.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna tell me that you just want the Pacers to win because they're not liked more? Let's not do that. Right?
That's my opinion. Halliburton is made what 13 All NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
So if you make 13 All NBA, see, people can say whatever they want. You're one of the 15 best players in the league, right? However you want to frame that.
Not if you're from Indiana, you're not.
There,
Somehow you're the 50th.
there's 475 players in the NBA, and when you make All NBA, you're one of the 15 best. That's something to say about you. Whether
what
you
about
agree,
the players on Oklahoma?
I mean, SGA is a stud. We know that.
Let's reframe right now. You're
Mm-hmm.
acting like they're about to win the championship. They just won one game.
I didn't say they were going to win a chip. I just said
You said, you know what? I'm leaning towards them. Listen,
I'm leaning towards them because of because they're the underdogs. Tyrese Halliburton is overrated. He's still not getting the credit. He might, to me, he has to score 100 points for people to shut up.
And he still wouldn't. And they still wouldn't call him a superstar.
He's getting the right amount of credit.
The only way that is gonna change people, he has to win. Winning the championship is gonna sway a lot of people. And if he does
You're
it
right.
back to back, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a whole different ballgame.
Only
I
thing I
agree.
know about Tyrese Halliburton is that he comes out of hotel rooms with lots of women. So I guess, right?
His girlfriend and her friends.
Yeah. When did she become the girlfriend?
No, she's the
Not
fiance.
not till after.
Okay.
No, they've been dating. No, they've been dating since college.
They was dating since
college. Yeah.
I saw that on
Okay,
ESPN.
well,
Okay.
whatever is going on there, that's the only thing I know about him.
Okay.
So
The story is being created. He does have a story somewhat. He has a crazy father.
He has a crazy father, and he does a lot of questionable things. I'll leave it at that. Support it if you want.
Pascal Siakam, right? He has a ring.
All I know is that he used to play for Toronto.
Yo, these guys, they just want to win, yo.
I don't care about that.
No.
I'm watching. What about me?
I like the Pacers. I like the Pacers because they play team basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no difference.
This is the finals for pure basketball fans.
Exactly.
Oklahoma plays team basketball.
Which is
They
the three
do.
of us.
No, they do. And that's why I'm so excited. That's why I get mad when people tell me they're not watching this NBA Finals, because I'm like, these are two of the best teams in the NBA. They're playing the highest level of basketball on the planet right now. And you're telling me you're not going to watch it because their jersey says a city that you don't like? You're not a basketball fan.
No.
It's not the
fans get cursed out on social media every day. And how do I know this? Because I'm cursing those people out every day on social media.
Yep. Trish, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, right? You're 100% correct.
The city, but they don't. It's not the city. There's no motivation for me to listen to them. I'll tell you. I told you why I don't. I get upset when people say, "Well, why don't you give it to Tyrese Jason Tatum?" The Gills Arena spent like half an hour talking about it, and it's nothing but basketball players sitting down on the couch and saying, Tyrese Halliburton, Tatum checks all the boxes. Best scorer, he checks all the boxes. I'm like, get it through your head. If he's checking the boxes and it's not happening, he's doing something that's not checking a box.
Yo, if I was 17, I would probably be on your side more. I'm not 17. Marketing would play more weight if I was younger.
Marketing.
If I'm a kid who never played high school basketball and wish I was good enough, I would love Ant Edwards. If I was a high school basketball player, I would love Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would love watching the Pacers play.
Right.
If I'm a college basketball player, I love watching the Pacers play. There's only a handful of people that can go out and score 30 points a game. So I can't relate to SGA, but I can relate to playing a part of a team. And if that guy's open, he can hit. We put 5 people. Everybody loved the 3-point. Every Pacer who went in the game yesterday hit a 3-point shot except for Ben Mathurin. So we're playing exactly what you say.
You're biased,
and that's the whole thing, Frisch. What you're saying, and I think all three of us can agree. What you're saying in totality, you are correct. Marketing all that stuff, because while Coach was speaking, I thought about Duke and Michigan, right? Right. Let's look at Duke and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Duke is a fundamental college program, and they win. People were rooting for Michigan because of how they were marketed. So you're not wrong in what you're saying, but Duke ultimately won. But people still didn't like them because they didn't have a story. Like you were saying, their story was boring. That's where kids go that come from good background. They don't get in trouble.
Rich.
and they had the greatest college basketball player in college basketball history.
I get it. Michigan had the y'all saw the documentary. They was coming out to EPMD and DOS effects. They had the baggy shorts and the big
Nike
socks.
Yeah, the black Nike socks. They was the culture.
Listen, I got guys. You can do this on your own time. I'm not spending another second on the Pacers. They're not bringing anything to me, right? Not.
Hey, when they win the title,
Which title are we talking about?
The one that they're going for, the one that
the NBA title,
the one that Edwards got to pay tickets to see,
Eastern Conference. Listen,
the one Jalen Brunson got to pay money to be in the arena to see.
You guys don't even understand that you're doing the same thing I'm talking about by talking yourself into believing this thing. That's a story.
It is a story.
Yeah, okay, so tell it. I don't understand why you don't. You've just talked yourself into a fantasy.
How's it a fantasy? We're three wins away
because it hasn't happened. But you've put it in like all right. Tyrese Halliburton. No one respects him. You just made him the protagonist in your story.
The
person that's downtrodden, that's not looked upon, that's underrated. That's how you develop a protagonist, and you're trying to convince me that he is this broken hero and this unresolved hero that needs the eye, but everybody's.
All we're doing is telling you the truth.
He doesn't live in New York.
Only thing we're doing is telling you the truth.
Real basketball fans.
You're conditioning a story.
Real basketball fans respect Tyrese Halliburton. Like Jeremy said, if you're a real basketball fan, you don't care about him stylistically.
Guess what?
Casual bootleg fans. Casual bootleg fans are going to gravitate towards Ja Morant.
What internet platform have you guys been on? Because everybody loves Tyrese Halliburton online, especially because not of his doing. There's a whole freaking track, not only on the radio, but on social media where it counts, that says his name. That is what he needs. When people are on like things that traverse across borders, right? Because a music track can be played on anybody's radio. He's on TikTok. His name is on TikTok. His name is on the radio. That's how you do it. Look at what's happening around you. Please.
It's because he's hit 4 buzzer beaters in this playoffs.
It's not because he's hit 4 buzzer beaters.
That means that he's 4 for 4. He hasn't been this.
He's hit 11 or 12 this season. That's why.
What games we're not watching. So how are we? We're not watching it.
If he got beaten the first round by Milwaukee and that same rapper put out that song, nobody would care.
We're not watching
That's a fact.
Nobody would care.
His name is in a song, and his dad almost got dumped on the court.
I don't even know the name of the song.
I didn't know, and I listen to hip hop every day.
I've never heard the song. You just hear
what the Halliburton? His name is in the song. Gen Z is looking up. What you mean? Who's Halliburton? He's in the song with the Hallie. Where's my phone? Let me see how many streams that song have.
And then look up the Brunson song. Oh, there isn't one.
The Knicks had a song.
Exactly.
That was a good one.
So if Halliburton got a song that got millions of streams and you're still complaining, do more, do better, because he's on the thing with the Gen Z, right?
If he wins, he won't have to do much.
Let me tell you something. We move on to something here. People like winners. Story. Miss me with the sad story.
But you just told me to tell you a story.
No, and I told you, miss me with the sad one, right? Miss me with the sad son. You want more people to talk about the Pacers? Do your own work. Everything else is happening the way it should and the timing it should for somebody that wasn't a superstar last year but is doing good things today. Stop. You're not getting everything overnight. You're not gonna force people to psychologically jump over like you force Omar. Good luck on that side, because when they lose, you're gonna be like, oh well, the game. What? No, we don't want you on this side, because you just let him condition you into this thing. Another thing I do as a person that works in media is identify fuckery. Please don't do it. Right?
So why is Jalen Brunson a star?
Why isn't?
Why is he?
There's a lot to that.
Is it? Because I don't know it.
Well, which way do you want to take it, from the father's side or him? Because his dad is a hell of a story. Do you know the story behind him?
Yeah, but his notoriety.
He used to play for the Knicks, and now he coaches for the Knicks and let his son take 50 shots a game.
Used to be on the Mavericks, right? He is known as, he's very difficult. It's a wonder how Jalen Brunson must have the mentality of steel, because I don't want to say something that's legally terrible, but he is not a good person to work with by reputation, verbally to people. For example, I forgot what game it was the year before last, and I'm changing the words, but it happened. Jalen Brunson, I don't know if he's playing in an all-star game or some kind of game. He misses a shot, and you hear from the crowd, "You fucking suck!" Was his dad.
Yeah, I remember that.
This guy is different. That's one of the reasons why I don't think KD will like it there, because this guy is different. You have to be mentally strong, and a lot of people grew up in families like that. So what we see on the video is Rick Brunson and Jalen practicing in the park, and he's like, "You tired? You tired?"
Yeah, but the media knows that the Knicks is arguably the most delusional fan base in sports, and you could get them hype over anything. Right. So they had to put that out there.
And so we'll eat like borderline freaking.
He's not coming to the Knicks.
So if Halliburton's a Knick and Mr. Halliburton gets on the court and waves his flag in front of Giannis, New York loves him. He's the king of New York. But because he did it in Indiana, he's a dumbass. He's a troll. He should be kicked out the league. But he did that same thing in New York, he would be Spike Lee. Spike Lee would have bought his tickets and he would be sitting next to him on courtside. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know, because that's a small market fight. Like, I don't know. He was playing Milwaukee. Y'all should have worked that out, right? I don't know what the deal is, or why he was put to the side. And the only thing I could deduce is that this is not the first time he's done it, right? So, I always in the show I brought up the picture of Tyrese Halliburton looking at the confrontation between his dad and Giannis, and I said, look at Halliburton's face, unfazed, like, yo, this is typical. And because normally if another player was getting in the face of somebody's parent, that player would be heated. Mm-hmm. Halliburton's like, all right. So I could tell from that picture he's probably the adult in his family, which is what I was telling you about the leadership.
Hence why he had to apologize for his dad.
Right. He is the parent. He is the parent and the leader for his family. And that's why I was telling you before, leadership matters. Leadership matters a lot, and it's a differentiator. I don't care how athletic everybody is. You don't have a leader on your team, you're going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference. That's why I'm like, I didn't watch game one. I knew they weren't gonna. Who's the leader that's gonna say get the f up? That's why Udonis got paid until year 36. You know. So
I'm with you.
anyway, time
Okay.
to beat the machine.
Let's beat it. Let's beat it.
You guys know the rules. Simple. I'll play you the dossier. You guys decide amongst yourself in 5 minutes
I was 2 for
who
2
you're gonna
last
pick
week.
to eliminate. Huh?
We were 2 for 2 last week.
2 for 2 last week. Let's see if you guys can do it again. This one is called Sideline Commanders.
Phil Jackson, the Zen Master, 11 Rings, Ego Tamer, Triangle Guru. Eric Spoelstra, the Strategist, Rings, Multiple Errors, Master of Adjustments. Greg Popovich, the Culture King, 5 Rings, Consistency, Player Development. Pat Riley, the Godfather, Championships Across Decades, Heat Culture Architect.
All right, guys, your job is to decide in 5 minutes which one of these coaches get eliminated from history. Everything's gone. All right. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
I feel this is open and shut. So Phil Jackson, 11 championships, beat Red Auerbach's record of 9. Phil Jackson coaches the greatest player to ever play, Michael Jordan, and then his clone, Kobe Bryant. And on top of that, he has Shaq and Pippen as your players. So he automatically stays. Greg Popovich had Tim Duncan. I know back, in the early 2000s, I know some people wasn't considering San Antonio dynasty just for the simple fact they haven't won back-to-back championships. But to win 5 championships over that course of 16 years, um, he stays. And then Pat Riley coaches Showtime. He wins that 1 championship with the Heat in '06, even though that was Stan Van Gundy's teams, and he just placed himself in there. And also he took the Knicks to the finals, and he brought Spoelstra under his wing. Spoelstra is the one that goes because without LeBron and D Wade, but then I can say that with the other coaches too. But Phil is real easy to take Spoelstra off this list
Go ahead, Omar.
compared to the other 3.
Yeah, go ahead, Omar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Bulls fan, so Phil Jackson ain't going nowhere.
He stays.
Eric, Eric Spoelstra goes, man. I mean, I give him credit. He led the Miami Heat to the playoff runs with much less talent, but didn't get the job done. But ultimately, Greg Popovich, Pat Riley, and Phil Jackson, they have extensive resumes. They won, and they won even though they won with talented players. I always like to say, just think about if Phil Jackson didn't win with Jordan, Pippen, and Robin, and Shaq and Kobe and everybody else. Just let's flip it. What if they didn't? What if he didn't win with them? What if Pat Riley didn't win with the Showtime Lakers? What if Greg Popovich wouldn't have won with Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and company? So the fact that these three coaches, to me, it's harder to actually coach superstars because you have to get them all on one accord. You have to get them to buy into your philosophy, and they really don't have to listen to you because of how great they are. So it's, to me, it's actually not. It's not an easy thing. So yeah, Eric Spoelstra got to go.
All right, I'm a break. I can be talked to Eric Spoelstra, but I'm going to say Phil Jackson is responsible for the Bulls, the Lakers, and indirectly responsible for Golden State because Steve Kerr took that triangle offense and made it his own. So Phil stays. Pat Riley with the Showtime Lakers, New York, Miami, and Spoelstra with the legacy of LeBron. If you take away Spoelstra, LeBron's not in the GOAT debate. No way, no how, because that's 4 finals and 2 championships you got to take away. So to me, you take away Pop because even though he won 5 titles, no one cares. And I think we talked about it this whole show because of where he was. So like if Pop is in New York or LA, then Pop is up there with the field discussion. Even though Pop went 20 straight years without missing the playoffs and had legendary people like David Robinson, Tim Duncan, because he did it in San Antonio, I think his effect on the story of the NBA history is lesser than all of them. Because once again, if you take away Phil, you got to take away Jordan and Kobe. If you take away Spoelstra, you got to take away LeBron's four finals and 2 titles. And if you take away Pat Riley, you take away Showtime, Magic Johnson. And so I think it's Pop. But I'll ride
30
with
seconds.
But I'll ride with y'all with Spo.
Even though Pop is the one who's responsible for starting this resting players.
Yeah.
He stays.
All right, so we're gonna say Spo.
Yep.
Omar, you good with Spo?
Spo.
All right, let's go.
All right.
With enough time, with a Halliburton time.
Right, enough time for a Halliburton jumper, right?
Yo.
Okay. I love that you guys went back and forth about this. Let's see.
While tactically elite, Eric Spoelstra hasn't matched the multi-era dominance of Riley, Jackson, or Popovich. Jackson built 2 dynasties, Popovich sustained 2 decades of excellence, and Riley ran across 3 eras as coach and executive. Spo's resume is strong, but still partially tied to the LeBron era. In a room full of gods, he's the rising mortal.
All right, hit delete.
Hey, I wish this game like kind of deleted people as they went, because if you delete Spo, you got to delete 4 of LeBron's finals and 2 of his titles.
I mean,
so now LeBron has 2 titles, and now he's at what? He's at the level of Akeem Olajuwon.
Well, listen, some people.
But he will be 2 and 6.
For those of you who have watched and tuned in, if you want that level of AI in the show, I will happily do it, but in time as the show grows.
He'd be 2 and 4, by the way. I'm sorry.
All right, so let me actually put on episode 2 of Beat the Machine. This one is going to be called Clamp Commanders, and this is inspired by Coach who says he loves basketball and thinks that stars should be guarding their
okay, defense. Okay, good. Okay.
And as you've seen on the show, he's mistaken quite a lot. So let's go.
Tony Allen, grind father, defensive menace in the grit and grind era, 6-time all-defensive team selection. Jason Kidd, the downshine disruptor, 9-time all-defensive team selections, visionary in steals and rebounding. Gary Payton, the glove, 9-time all-defensive first team, smothered MJ, talk trash, hand-checking era defender. Drew Holiday, the defensive ace, elite on-ball stopper, 2-time All-Star, delivered Bucks a championship.
All right, you guys have 5 minutes to decide. Starting now.
Okay.
You want to go first? Go ahead.
Yeah, I go first. Tony Allen stays because Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest scorers ever, said that Tony Allen is one of the people who played him the toughest. That's saying a lot if it's coming from Kobe. So that's one. Gary Payton, um, former Defensive Player of the Year. I can't remember where he stands on the all-time steals list. But 9-time NBA Defensive First Team. I think he stays. Jason Kidd, I know, is ranked very high on the all-time steals list. I just can't remember where he is exactly. So my pick would be Drew Holiday as the one who leaves this list.
I had Tony Allen, Jason Kidd, and Drew Holiday's defense led to titles. Gary Payton was the glove, but he didn't win anything in Seattle. And about time he won is because he was old in Miami. So Drew Holiday helped the Bucks win a title. Jason Kidd helped the Dallas Mavericks beat the Heatles, and Tony Allen helped the Celtics beat the Lakers. So if I'm just going on defensive purposes, to me, GP would go. But I could listen to Drew Holiday. Because he didn't win. I mean, he locked people down, but it didn't lead to anything.
I'm saying, for what it's worth, in his mind, he thinks he's the reason why the Bulls lost Game 4 and Game 5.
Well, there's a reason why George Karl didn't even put him on Jordan in Game 1 and Game 2. I would have loved.
That wasn't gonna change. And I actually saw George Karl that same summer. I went to Sam Perkins basketball camp, and Sam Perkins had George Karl as a guest. So I just happened to have on, my Michael Jordan jersey and matching Bull shorts. So he spoke to the entire camp and stuff. And I remember some of the kids at the camp was asking him questions about Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant, before they played the first game. So when we was all done and stuff like that, and I had my back turned, all of a sudden I heard someone say, "Burn the jersey." I turned around, who it is? George Karl smiling at me. So I was like, "Why? Because you lost?" And he said, "Oh, Phil Jackson wouldn't shake my hand." He said he wasn't a man for that. But he didn't say anything about. I wish he would have said something about Gary Payton slowing down Michael Jordan.
2 minutes.
Here you go, Omar. Go ahead.
So yeah, like you said, you make a good point about not winning the chip. But Gary Payton stays because I mean the glove. He was incredible overall. Even though he didn't win the chip, he was incredible. And even as a Bulls fan, that was Michael Jordan's worst statistical
that's his worst finals.
NBA finals. So Jordan can say whatever he wants on the Last Dance, but numbers don't lie. They might get distorted. They don't lie. His field goal percentage was low. His 3-point percentage was low. So Gary Payton did give him fits. You're not going to stop a Michael Jordan, but he did give him fits.
Slow down.
So I'm gonna say Drew Holiday mainly for this reason, because Drew Holiday's actually doing it in the weakest era of the NBA. Those three individuals,
60 seconds.
That was saying they did it in a tougher era. It was, you were
Jason Kidd wasn't a defender though. Jason Kidd was not like that defender. The other three,
No, he wasn't, but he's actually ranked high on the steals list. That's why I put him to stay.
Right.
Yeah, so is Iverson too, and he wasn't a defender.
That's true.
But he played the passing. He played the passing.
That's true.
Because Jason Kidd was surrounded by Kenyon Martin and good defenders. So and Kerry Kittles was a good defender, and Richard Jefferson.
Seconds.
So I'm gonna say Jason Kidd. I'm gonna say get rid of Jason Kidd if we're just talking defense.
Okay. Yeah, fun fact: Magic Johnson led the league in steals. Like
I have a feeling that it's gonna be Jason Kidd, but I'm gonna go with Drew Holiday because of he's doing it in the weakest era in terms of
10 seconds. You have to agree.
Defense. I'm gonna go with Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm. Drew Holiday, but you know what I said.
All right.
Sadly, I got the last 4 right. We're counting for last week in the other week.
Yeah, this will be 4
between Drew Holiday and
Jason
Kidd. Let's see what the answer is.
I knew
Jason Kidd was a brilliant team defender, smart, efficient, and disruptive, but lacked the one-on-one lockdown edge the others possessed. Gary Payton won Defensive Player of the Year and could suffocate guards and wings alike. Tony Allen was a scorer's nightmare, and Jerome Holiday thrives under playoff pressure with his strength and footwork. Kidd was the general, but not the enforcer. So, Kidd is eliminated.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that was going to go that way. He wasn't. Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd. Some recent bias.
I thank you guys for helping me get the Pacers to lose.
Jason Kidd was Jason Kidd was an excellent help defender. He's exactly right. So he was a great help defender, but in terms of one-on-one, I would feel confident going up against Jason Kidd compared to the other 3.
No,
we used to call him Ace and Key because he had no J and no D. So we just took the J and the D out of it.
Right.
Ace and
we used to call him Ace and Kidd, but then he became like top 5 3-point shooters ever. Because when he got to New Jersey later in his career, he became a good set shooter. But when he was young and run up and down the court, he couldn't shoot worth nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to call him Ace and Key.
Listen, I was like, maybe you should. In the background, I was laughing because I'm like, they're gonna make him pick something other than Jason Kidd. Yes.
I should have stayed on my Halliburton. I should have stayed on my Halle. What the hell?
Yeah, you should have stayed on with your first pick, but shows you're a team player and you're telling me about this teamwork thing, right? Good job.
I'm trying to be an OKC Thunder.
Yeah. So I just want to let you guys know before we sign off that you can always subscribe to 2 Minute Warning. We do this every week. Thank you everyone on the panel that participated. If you want to support, you can subscribe to the channel, pass it to your friends. We also have t-shirts for sale, so go ahead and get your t-shirt. We do have it in Pacers blue, but hopefully barely. I call this a worn Oklahoma blue, but if you want to call it Pacer blue, go ahead, be my guest. But we also have other things like cups, mugs. I think we have a 2 minute.
I'm gonna give me a mug.
Right?
We got mugs.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting a mug.
So you can support in that way. That will be very helpful. Everything goes towards the show and all the stuff that we do behind the scenes to make it better. So thank you everybody for joining. That was a 2 Minute Warning show. They beat the machine once out of twice. In the future, we would like other people to participate. So if you're interested in debating with the panel on topics or playing Beat the Machine, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and comment under. Until next time, peace.
Go Pacers.
Oh,
yes,
wait.
sirs.
Now we gotta keep the show going. Go Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yo,
win 4 in a row.
What the
Leave
hell?
Omar.
What the hell?
I think I'm more.
And
Nah,
Jeremy
I got no
on the
horse in this
other
race.
side of the tracks.
I'm probably leaning more after this conversation. I'm probably leaning more towards the Pacers, yo.
No, you can lean all the way over there. The next episode you're on, I want a formal apology from each of you, right? No shorter than 500 words on why you made a poor choice and how you will do better next year. Right?
My whole family's going to do a parade after we sweep OKC. So next show, my whole family's going to do a parade for you guys. So
okay, yeah.
Is there any horse racing fans on 2 Minute Warning? I've been dying to debate someone in the world of thoroughbred racing.
We'll find out. We'll find
Small
out.
The Belmont Stakes too.
We'll find out if there's any bougie sports fans like yourself that need to talk about horse racing, equestrian, any of the sorts, right? This is the place.
Jeremy is the
expert.
Can we dress up? Can we dress up like we going to Kentucky Derby?
We can all wear hats and gloves.
Let's do it. Kentucky Derby.
Yes, sirs.